Hi, today you're sewing with Cody, and I want to show you one of my favorite features that is found on the Bernina 880 Plus and the Bernina 790 Plus, and that is what they refer to as the last 15 used stitches. So what I'm referring to is this little icon down here. So what this icon is it's our last 15 stitched stitches. So if we click on it, so here are our last 15 used stitches, but it's not just the last stitches that we used, it's the last 15 used stitches the exact way we stitched them. So this is excellent. So if I were to go back to one of these stitches, this particular stitch, the last time it was used, the needle position was moved 5 spaces to the right. The automatic tension, well, the tension was adjusted for a specific type of thread we might have been using, for a particular type of fabric, a number of things we may have changed. And so the machine automatically saved all of that for us. So if, for instance, the best example I've got is if you're working on a project and it's a multi-day project and you're kind of flipping around through stitches and you're kind of changing them around, and then you turn off your machine and you come back the next day to complete your project, you totally forgot, one, what stitches you were using the day before, or two, you forgot to save the particular stitch in the way that you had already had it set up. Well, now you don't have to worry about doing any of that, because when we come back the next day, if we forgot to save it, it would automatically be in our last 15 used stitches the exact same way that we used it. It automatically saves it. It could be pressure foot pressure, it could be just about anything. It will remember how we used that stitch last. Now, the one thing that will happen that will cause it to delete is, one, if we use more than 15 different stitches after that particular stitch, or if we come back and we go and select like stitch 427 again, and then we change it again and we stitch it out. Then that will replace this 427 with a newly altered stitch 427. But that's the only way they'll kind of be deleted out of the last 15 used stitches. But the one thing to remember is, in order for those stitches to be saved in there, is you physically have to stitch that stitch out. You don't just have to go and select a particular stitch and change it and alter it in whichever fashion you want and just presume that it gets saved in there. It will only get saved in there if we stitch it out. All right, hopefully you've learned something with our last 15 used stitches. It's one of my favorite features on the Bernina 880 and the Bernina 790. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. All right, happy sewing.